Hi, my name is Tara Argel and I'm the founder and creator of the Trailblazing Communications Whole Life System. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my story and about how trailblazing came to be. My story started when I was in my 40s. I came down with a mystery illness. They weren't really sure what was wrong with me and they didn't know what to do with me. They termed it fibromyalgia. They told me it wasn't treatable, that I just have to learn how to live with it. That was all I got. I felt pretty hopeless because I felt really miserable. I had so much pain and my head was foggy and I had no energy and I was depressed until I got to a point where I was really seriously contemplating taking my own life. I've been a mental health counselor for over 20 years, and to be a mental health counselor and to feel so depressed that I felt like taking my own life is not a very good place to be in, but that's where I was. So I knew that I either had to go forward with my plan or I needed to figure out what to do, because I didn't want to hurt anybody, try to help other people that are suffering. I thought I better give myself a shot. So what I did is I got curious and I started explored a lot of things, all things complementary, because I really came from a black and white mindset and only believed in Western medicine. So getting sick was my awakening, so to speak, that made me have to ask questions and have to look differently. And I'm so grateful that I did, because it opened me up to so many things. And I have always been very close to animals. In fact, growing up, I had kind of a rough childhood, and so animals were always that unconditional love that was always there for me. And so I've always been able to communicate with them. And through my exploring, I learned that we all are born with that ability to communicate with animals. Yes, we're all born being able to communicate with animals, and we're all born being very intuitive, but it isn't supported and nurtured in most households, and so we forget how to do it. So I really wanted to learn how to teach people how to relax back into those skills like I've used. I started to teach other people how to communicate with animals, but a lot of people weren't taking the time to practice. So in my love of wanting to help animals not to have to suffer, I didn't want people to have to suffer, I thought it would be really helpful to help people get connected with their animal companions, because there's so much wisdom there. They can help us navigate life, and they really can help us not suffer so much. And my mission statement is to eradicate all unnecessary suffering. So as I started to try to develop a new way to communicate with animals, a little different than we naturally do, I started creating a system using a pendulum and charts to help with the communication process. What I didn't realize is that this was going to morph and get a life of its own. So after I created the first module to communicate with animals, I just kept getting more and more and more. Over a period of time, I had 13 modules that really address all different parts of our lives. And those 13 modules are what make up the Trailblazing Communications Whole Life System. I didn't intentionally set out to create the system, but just opening that curiosity into energy and animal communication and all that, it just flowed, and I couldn't stop it, because I love being able to empower others to be able to take their life into their own hands. These tools help you take back your life, to be our own practitioners. And when we can work on ourselves every day, all day, and when things come up, that's when real change happens. And I think Trailblazing's gift, its true strength, is that it helps us really work on trauma. And trauma is really what disrupts our lives, is what causes the drama. You can help remove the trauma, which creates the drama. So Trailblazing helps us locate, identify, and shift that trauma energy, and so much more, but that's really its superpower. If you relate to my story, if you relate to what I'm talking about, you check out Trailblazing by saying yes to being able to address those things that come up in your life yourself, and being your own guru and your own practitioner. So if you're tired of being sick and tired, and you're tired of taking medications that don't make you feel any better, in fact they create more side effects that you need more medications for, if you're tired of that rat race, then you might want to give us a look. So I hope that in some way I can give you hope and help you, and maybe help you eradicate suffering. Gives you hope.